Shamsi Decoded. I'm your host, Sophia Turner. I welcome you all back to episode number 27. And we're going to be talking about Black culture. How has Black culture affected the United States of America? I'm going to tell you, we have had our handprint in so many different categories that I just don't know where all categories that we have our hand in, but because it's just so many, you know? We have two that's like at the top of the line that I think that we all can talk about. Let's talk about George Washington Carver. You know, he created peanut butter products. And let's talk about Madam C.J. Walker. She created hair products. Those are the main two that we know, that I know that most of us probably have heard of. You know, but there are some that we haven't heard of. So what is Black culture? Black culture, let's talk about that. Black culture refers to the contributions of African Americans to the culture of the United States, either as part of or a distinct, distinct from mainstream American culture. That's what it is. It's distinct from mainstream American culture. Black culture values emphasizing family closeness, community bonding, solidarity, and horizontal values of autonomy. What is autonomy? Autonomy is self-governing. Self-governing is you have the right to live your life the way you see fit. Live it, breathe it, the way you see fit. No one have a right over how you choose to live your life, who you choose to live your life with. As long as you're not breaking no laws, you can live your life the way you see fit. You have self-governing over yourself. No one have power over you. You have the full power of yourself and how you live your life. That's what autonomy is. That's how I see it as, anyway. Okay? Let's go back a little bit in history. We're going back to the Industrial Revolution. They called this the golden age of invention. Now, we have had a lot of contributions when it comes down to inventions in the United States. Black people living in the North were 8 times more likely to be awarded a patent than black people living in the South. This period is from 1870 to 1940, the Industrial Revolution. They say back then, in that period, black people created 50,000 patents. 50,000. Educational achievement, innovation, and entrepreneurship were widespread in the North black community in the decades between the end of slavery and the beginning of Jim Crow. We have more black inventors, innovators, inventors. A few of them I'm going to name also that we probably didn't know or haven't heard of. We have Lewis Latimer. He was like an engineer also. He contributed in the development of telephones and also improvements to lighting. Cut a switch on. It's easy now for to just come in and cut the switch on, right? When we come into a house, any room, office, he helped that. He helped to improve that. We have Mr. Elijah McCoy. He was another engineer that they didn't let work in his field. But he also, he worked on automated systems for wheel lubrication to improve train travel. Train travel, Mr. Elijah McCoy. Then we have Granville Woods. Granville Woods made fundamental innovations to railways with the distribution of electricity to the rail cars. That's what Mr. Granville Woods did. And then we have Miss Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone, she invented the ironing board. So that's just a few names, that I wanted to share. I mean, then the list goes on and on, as far as inventors, innovators that help to change culture when it comes down to these United States of America. And the leading roles that help to also make change is we also led in when it come down to Southern speech, when it come down to folklore, storytelling. I don't mean no harm, but an older black person can tell a good story, boy, when it comes down to folklore. Great storytellers. Black people can be very great storytellers. When it comes down to music, dancing, and food. Now, when it comes down, we can throw down with the get down when it comes down to cooking in the kitchen. Not too many that can top us. We lead in that. That country, that Southern cooking, boy, it's nothing like it. Nothing like it. Or even just let's say when I know back then, back during the golden age time period, you have when the slaves was brought over, enslaved people was brought over from their country of Africa, West Africa to be more exact, and brought over to the colonization of America. They brought with them, of course, their culture, their food, things of that nature, and they blended it with what they learned here, and and it became, of course, popular. So now we at the mainstream of even that when it comes down to food. When you come down to family reunions, parties, no matter what it is, food is at the center of that. That's just what we do. That's how we show our love and gratitude. That's how we break bread with each other, and we learn more about each other just through that. So for me, for a people who was counted as 3/5, sure has made their mark in the production of culture. And in my opinion, we are the culture. So that's what I think anyway. And I don't want to go off topic too much, but I want to speak about Kanye West because I know he's a trendsetter. He's a culture changing person of today's time. When it comes down to the music industry, when it comes down to fashion, he has had his hand in those pots, and he has made his stamp where he's been approved in so many genres of people. So, yeah, he's a culture changer. He's one of them. He's really, when it comes down to his First Amendment right, freedom of speech, he definitely speaking up and speaking out on his thoughts on different things. Now we all may not agree with it. Majority of us probably don't agree with it. Some probably do. I don't know. I know I don't agree with a lot of the things he's saying, especially when it comes down to slavery, saying that was a choice. I don't agree with that. Not me. But I mean, it is what it is. Instead of everyone investing, all their energy and things of that nature on listening to what's going on about Kanye, let's focus on what's going on about these elections. Right now, we're in the early voting stage. November 8th is the day for you to vote. The midterm elections. I would urge every person, especially every black person, to get out there and vote. If you want to keep up with your culture changing methods, let's improve that. Let's get out there and vote. If you believe in anything good in this world when it comes down to bettering yourself and which you have hopes to better in your future when it comes down to your community, when it comes down to your family, you need to go out there and vote. Rights are being taken from us. Voting rights are up for discussion soon, and I think they've had it, in the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, when it comes down to Alabama. Voting rights being disputed there when it comes down to their maps and the census and things of that nature. They want to take our voting rights away from us. So ask yourself why they want to do that. You have people, and I'm going to say this, we have people that have died for us to have the right to vote. So we need to make sure we get out there and respect the honors of everyone who has passed to go out there and vote. If we want anything in this world that's going to better our community, because believe me, everything about voting affects how we live, where we live, and what we have access to. That's why it's important for you to go out and vote. Just understand that. If you're not sure how to go out and vote, there are different places for you to go to or read up, for social media, when it comes down to voting stations. If you just need to go to a library, read up on it. Learn how to vote. Believe me, it's going to be it will make you into a more knowledgeable person on how to proceed when it comes down to you bettering your life. Trust me on that. It will help. So I would urge everyone to go out there and vote November 8th, if not beforehand. As I said right now, the early voting polls are open up until, I believe, November the 3rd or 4th. Go out and vote, people. Just go out and vote. So this is Charm City Decoded. I'm your host, Sophina Turner. We're going to keep on elevating the culture. I bid you all a good day. Y'all be safe and keep on building.